Miles and I share the same background. We actually both did a PhD in School for Arts and Technology in Interactive Arts and Technology Design area. And it's very curious that we found ourselves working in the same place here at UBCO. But my background is coming more from the painting and visual arts and animation and immersive installation, whereas I guess Miles's background is more in the sound and audio design. My practice spans pretty far and wide. Well, I did lots of performances and live animated shows with music and theater. Also have a established practice in media installations, immersive media installations, and also did lots of TV media type work, animations. We are working on a large project called Waterways, and the project involves imagining what the future of our waters in Okanagan is, as well as understanding what Okanagan looked like pre-contact, and where we're now and how we are going to move into the future. The most profound aspect of this project is that we're trying to work across Indigenous and non-Indigenous ways of seeing the future, and that's why we're kind of drawing from the past. So this project involves Indigenous scholar, Canada Research Chair Jeanette Armstrong, who is also expert in traditional ecological knowledge, John Wagner, who is environmental anthropologist, and Lael Parrott, who is scientist, complexity science. So we're kind of trying to bring traditional and scientific perspective, anthropological perspective, and draw from there. Of course, Miles and I, as a media artist, our job is to bring all of those voices together and create media experiences. So this is a very exciting piece because we have this full year, full cycle. We started in October and we're opening in October. We have a full year cycle. So we felt so fortunate to get invited to do this exhibition because it gave us a real opportunity to express poetically whatever we found throughout this research. Jeanette Armstrong and Marla Sam, who is also an Indigenous scholar, have been a profound inspiration and also direct contributors to the project, in a sense that we're using some of the work and some of the interviews that Marla conducted in Silk community, and we also are drawing from some of the work and community engagements that we did with our previous work called Social Life of Water, which was exhibited at the Heritage Museum. The community contribution has some history. We're building on the previous works and previous media, but also it is through engagement with things such as being welcomed in some of the Indigenous ceremonies. The Meadowlark Festival Eco-Community Center in Penticton, which is this amazing place where the community is restoring a piece of land to its original ways of being, and we were welcomed and were shown around and got fortunate to actually record some of the cottonwoods and the birds. In the area, we were a part of the salmon ceremonies, salmon release ceremonies, and so Yes, Indigenous community has been a big part of our learning about this place, and we feel very fortunate to have been given that opportunity to participate and record and use those materials in this show.
So my own art practice comes from a background in designing sound experiences for theatre. And so that led me into wanting to explore deeper the kinds of effects that sound had on people, and how the kind of creative practice of sound art is able to express the poetics of various concepts and experiences. So from there, I went into doing a university education that concentrated on computer music, and that's good old computer music that involves, coding to create various kinds of synthesis and processing engines to be able to manipulate sound at a very fundamental level. And as a part of that study, I was also involved in interactive multimedia. So again, using computer code and the programming environment in order to create interactive experiences for viewers or interactors that would be able to unfold things in time and space, and find a kind of an embodiment and a playfulness with the things that I would create from that. And so it struck me as very interesting, the idea of affecting people's perception of reality by manipulating sound. And so that encouraged me to inquire further about what is the psychological and perceptual aspects of audio that we can move people into different places and through time, and collapse and explode various kinds of experiences. So that led me to coming here into to the UBC in the Okanagan, and I was lucky enough to have Aleksandra as a colleague. And because of our similar backgrounds in media production, performance, and also our work at PhD level at the Simon Fraser School of Interactive Art and Technology, we fit together quite nicely as a collaborative team, working on these somewhat complex and evocative types of interactive multimedia installations. So the journey of the pod title really stems from one of the initial experiences that we had doing our field research in the Okanagan and with the water systems here. So it was at the end of summer, and some of the native species of plants here, they produce a pod, and inside the pod is a number of seeds. And the seeds they have a piece of fluff that's attached to them, so that they can float through the air and wistfully go and propagate elsewhere in the environment. And so that experience of finding this thing which gives life and encourages growth, and seeing how it ephemerally moves through the environment, was really quite an important experience. So the piece itself incorporates various kinds of media that we've documented throughout the year during these experiences, and encapsulates these kinds of moments of experience through different parts of the installation, and how it unfolds over time, representing the yearly cycle. So the interactivity, or the procedural affordance of digital media, allows rich two-way communication that is complex and is prone to the kinds of complexities that any kind of interaction has. So the true interaction that we kind of look to instill in these kinds of works with digital media is two-way. So the interactor changes the state of the digital media system, which then changes the behavior of the interactor. So there's this conversation between both the interactor and the system. So what we're doing here is combining different layers of media from the natural world, such as stones that have been sourced from the local environment here, working with BC Rocks to get some others as well. So we're dealing with like, actual, soulful, alive stone that come from the creek systems and environment here in the Okanagan. So there's kind of an energy and a resonance to just the natural materials. The shape of the piece itself is based on a kind of alchemic process of experiencing the space in between the creek and our experiences, the human body in there. And so it takes the form of a creek that is kind of this third space that we've been experiencing whilst trudging around the various creek systems here in the Okanagan. One of the successes for me to see will be that we're really looking at evoking the kinds of magic that these experiences in natural environments can generate within the human relationship to the land and the water. And so if we can, find opportunities or allow opportunities for visitors to be able to get an inkling and to be involved and immersed in these ephemeral spaces, then that will be where a beautiful sort of symmetry and correspondence exists between the work and its success.